Hey there, Media Studies students. Welcome back to Media Studies. So, today we are going to be learning what our entire class is founded on, critical perspectives. Now, here's the deal. When you sit down and listen to an album, or when you drive in your car and you listen to a song on the radio, when you sit down at home and you throw on a Netflix show, when you sit down in North Branch's movie theater and you have that big popcorn and you have that pop, right? You are about to experience something. We in Rush City tend to experience it from small town Minnesota point of view, right? But we are a lot more complex than that as a society. And when people watch movies, they watch it from different perspectives. Now, today we're going to be learning about critical perspectives. We're going to be learning different lenses to watch things through. Walt Disney once said, "Our heritage and ideals are code and standards. The things we live by and teach our children are persevered or diminished by how freely we exchange ideas and feelings." Okay? He's saying how we live, how we hold ourselves, the standards that we hold ourselves to are determined by the things that we talk about with other people. In media, throughout history, has been about the exchange of ideas. For a very, very long time, only the wealthy could exchange their ideas through things like writing. Only the wealthy could afford books. However, once the printing press was invented, the poor, if they were literate, if they were fortunate enough to know how to read, they could exchange ideas through books. When music started to be more easily transferred with the inventions of sound recordings and such, we were able to get ideas exchanged. And when film started over 100 years ago, we were able to exchange ideas and stories. And that only continues today. Now that everybody has access, most people have access to consume something. Most people have access to a radio, to a television, or to things like YouTube, right? You might not have a TV subscription, but a lot of people still have access to watch movies. You know what I mean? Now that we have these accesses, and we have these different things, we are able to consume stories. And it's up to us to interpret those stories. And critical lenses help us interpret those stories in new and different ways. So what is a critical perspective? Okay, when we look at a story, we see plot, we see the theme, we see the character, we see the setting. These are terms that you guys have been learning about in your English classes since way before you started here at Rush City High School. You were learning about the plot, the theme, the character, and the setting. But perspective is a way of looking at something. And we're talking about critical perspective. We're looking at criticizing something or analyzing something, trying to find deeper meaning in a product, right? We watch, and I'm going to use Cinderella a lot in these videos. We watch Cinderella. In the whole story, you say, okay, there's Cinderella, there's Prince Charming, there's the fairy godmother, and then there's the mice if you watch the Disney one, right? The theme is, hey, you know what? Greatness can come from everybody, anybody, right? You know the characters, you know the settings. However, if I was looking at Cinderella from a critical perspective, I'm going to look at it, okay, so what is this movie actually saying about women? What is this movie saying about history? Hey, I'm looking at this movie. Interesting, there's no people of color. What is this movie trying to say? Right? We're looking a little deeper. And that's what critical perspective is asking you to do. I'm doing this presentation before we start watching our movies in this class. And there's a reason for that, because we are going to be looking at these movies through critical perspectives. Okay? And right here, this is a perfect example of a critical perspective. What do we see? Oh, that's a picturesque view. If I had my glasses off, I would see a mountain and a bird. But if I look in closer, oh, these mountains right here, they look like bears. How neat is that? Looking a little closer, oh my gosh, the rocks, they look like the eagle. Interesting, right? It's a deeper way of looking into media, Critical perspective is a deeper way of looking into media. So you might just say, Mr. Engel, I like just sitting down at North Branch Theater and watching Fast and Furious 9. Why do I need to view it critically? It's because it's important to. Media is made to be looked at critically. Okay? Now, we're going to be taking a look at different forms of media. You might like Fast and Furious because it has lots of cool explosions and you like the message of it. You might not because it doesn't represent X group or Y group enough, right? One of the views that we are going to be learning about this week is going to affirm your perspective. And it's going to basically say, hey, however you interpret this is right. But by studying other views, if you agree with one of the 5 critical lenses, critical perspectives that we're learning about this week, and you agree with one of them and you can watch movies through one of them, it's still important that we watch movies in different views from yours. Not so we can disagree with it, not so we can say, all right, why do people think X movie is a good movie, but to understand why somebody would like that. It helps us understand these views. Studying a work from more than one view will give you a deeper understanding of the author's work and a better appreciation of the richness of it. I'm going to say very, very plainly, I grew up here in Rush City, Minnesota. We know Rush City is not a diverse area, and that's very, very unfortunate. However, when I went in and I watched the Black Panther movie, right, one of the best Marvel movies, I was watching it. It was a wonderful, wonderful movie. I was watching it from my perspective as a white guy from Rush City, Minnesota. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a white guy from Rush City, Minnesota. Do not get me wrong. But when Michael B. Jordan was giving his speech in the museum about how these artifacts were being stolen from different tribes down in Africa, I was going, oh yeah, that's something that happened in history. But imagine an African-American person watching this film and going, yeah, that's something that happened to me, to my people. We need to be thinking through multiple lenses because that's why films are being made. Not every film is being made for people that look like us. Not everything is being made for people that feel like us. Okay? Politically, we need to be able to analyze media so we can understand what it is saying. Why is it important? And why might somebody like it? Okay? What does studying a work from multiple perspectives involve? All you have to do is put your own view on hold. There's the phrase of don't judge somebody until you walk a mile in their shoes. You are being asked not to walk a mile in their shoes, but to put on their glasses, put on their worldview, and understand how they view the world. You may think of the world as a color. Let's say it's green. Everything you see in the world is green. I'm asking you to take off your glasses and put on the glasses of somebody who sees the world as yellow, right? We're viewing these worlds through different perspectives. That's what this involves. I'm asking you to think like somebody else. Studying a work from multiple perspectives does not require you to agree with that person. If I am a green thinker, if I think of the world as green, that doesn't mean if I look through a yellow lens, I am now a yellow thinker. That is not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that if I'm looking through that yellow lens, I might be able to understand how the people who see the world as yellow understand things. You want to be able to see through the eyes of other people. Studying a work from multiple perspectives does not require you to put those two perspectives into different interpretations. How I watch a children's movie today is very different than how my little niece and nephew watches a children's movie, right? It's very, very different. Neither of those opinions are wrong. If my niece and nephew likes Lego Batman, and I don't, that doesn't mean that either of us are wrong, right? We need to be able to think, okay, why does my nephew, Jameson, why does he love the Batman movie? Oh, because he gets to see Batman being cool and he loves Legos. Yeah, no duh. Why do I dislike it? Because they made a bunch of fart jokes, right? We need to think of things through critical perspectives, through other people's eyes, okay? So let's talk about the different perspectives that we're going to learn about in this unit. We're going to be learning about the feminist perspective, the Marxist perspective, the psychoanalytic perspective, the mythological perspective, and the new historicism perspective. These are our 5 things that we're going to view things through. Now, you might see things like feminist and Marxist, and you might have an association. Hey, are these things good or bad? I'm not asking you to make a decision. Are these things good or bad? Okay. There are different theories in these theories. What I'm asking you to do is try to think like these perspectives ask you to. Okay? So I'm actually going to make this video series. I'm going to make 6 videos. One is the introduction. One is the feminist theory. One's the Marxist theory. One's the psychoanalytic theory. One's the mythological theory. And one's the new historicism theory. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about any of these theories, let me know.